So you get on this machine, you get down there, and you start putting in this information. And it says, okay, security clearance X, which is not a designation for security clearance, presumably because Charles was like, fuck that, security clearance is whatever ICE says it is. And he didn't, so it's just everything. Furthermore, this is Traxagor's terminal that you happen to have sat at. In fact, both of this console right here, both terminals of this one console with its two screens, both screens are Traxagor's. Remember, both screens had the fucking giant eye on it. It's Traxagor's station that you sat at. So you have logged into Traxagor's station because you have security clearance so high that you don't need his password.
And overhearing what I overheard on the ship, and literally because my name is Curiosity, I'm gonna hit Control F and type smuggling ?
Thankfully, the good professor is clever enough that he doesn't have any files labeled smuggling and doesn't mention it by name in text in any of his documents.
Smart one this time. I'll get you though.
If you text me, I'll come down and get my card.
I think I'm too into just looking stuff up.
Okay.
You'd have to come and find me. But then I'm just gonna start looking. The next thing I would look for is like what happened to the people who filled our roles before.
So Traxagor doesn't seem to have any information on his in his station about that in particular. But you do note that the last time he was here, he left 2 virtual diaries to himself.
I look around at Darwin beside me to see if he's paying attention.
Darwin is playing 2 games of solitaire at the same time.
I open the diaries.
Okay, so the first one, Traxagor is like, Reconstruction 48, 82, and no, I won't change the dating procedure, I just learned this one. It seems that there are certain tendencies the creature possesses that were not previously expected. I'm not sure exactly what we happened to find, but there are certain signs of aging that are inconsistent. I think that this creature might have been much older than we'd originally anticipated, which is interesting considering her sheer veracity, which is of course known to the breed. And then there's a bunch of diagrams and math about something that has got to be just huge. And whatever it is, it's got to be a sea creature because it wouldn't hold its own weight in most normal gravities. It would crush the shit out of itself and everything else. Although there are certain things about it that make it seem as though if it were on land for a brief period of time and thrashing about, it would be extremely destructive.
I'll get the hint and log out and go find my terminal.
That was the first one.
Oh, the first terminal or the first journal?
No, yeah, the first journal. There's a second journal.
Oh, I thought that was both journals. Okay, what's the second one?
The second journal, he says, Mansfield seems interested. It could be quite a few ride-dos for us. Of course, he's a very unsavory individual, and I'm not sure how far we can stretch some of the resources we're discussing here. But what bothers me the most is the fact that he seems to have already been here in the past. And then there's diagrams on a ship, which is labeled the Mjolnir, which you remember is the name of the war-era battleship that was supposedly the one that dragged this thing to the planet's surface.
Just to be clear, whoever named that ship was a fucking nerd.
Well, during the war, they did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of things were named after various things from extremely... So, technically, they were fascist. And this is sort of hard to explain because we think of fascist as somebody that turns humans against humans, but you can still literally be fascist and say, we are the humans, we have to protect blood and soil, even though you've destroyed your own planet, so it's hypocritical as fuck, but it's still what they were saying. Yeah, it's still fascism. It's still fascism to use the identity as an excuse for ultimate power and then use that as a cultural means of war. That's what fascism actually is, right? Is the fascism is the unity aspect of it to give power to the government, not the part where they're particularly hateful, although they were. because the identity that they were using to do that was human identity instead of more specific racial identities or geographic located national identities. And so one of the ways that they would do that to celebrate their heritage, the same way that the Nazis pushed Wagner, was to use references to their own mythologies and histories in order to glorify it as part of their militarism. And so, yeah, the Mjolnir is exactly what they would call a battleship.
That doesn't change the fact that they're fucking nerds.
Somebody has to be. Otherwise, the battleships won't fly. How you gonna build a battleship in space? You don't have any nerds.
True. The trick is to not build it in space, but build it on a planet first.
Yeah.
And keep it there.
Yes. Well, fucking what? No, Miriam has learned the hard way what happens when you do that.
Do what?
Have your starship in the atmosphere.
Yes.
It goes poorly.
Going to fund stirring into helping build that ship.
Oh wow. The battle cruiser is very big, and it would take a very long time to build it.
Yep.
If you were on Mars, that might be a different story. I expect that the would the shipyards have been destroyed? I think that by that time I'd have cannibalized them, but that's just me. I'd have started cannibalizing the shipyards because you're not going to do anything by the time the Thread fleet gets there. So you want to use it for defenses on
And
the
very
planet side.
smart. We could feasibly plan that they.
I can build things if necessary, so long as I have the component parts.
Well, the question is, why is it in there? It seems what Traxagor seems to do is he makes a video to remind himself of whatever it is that's on his mind right at that moment. But it's just to remind himself, right? It's like shorthand. And then he just has a bunch of really intellectual shit that might or might not have had anything directly to do with it, sort of in the file, right? It's like Leonardo's drawings. Like, what the fuck is any of this?
Doodling in the margin.
Yeah. Those were the 2 journal entries that you found, by the way. Raidu's, in case you're wondering, is the Rast currency. One of the 2 major currency systems in space.
How do you spell that, just for notes?
I think RYDOO is Raidu, and I think when you pluralize it, you add an apostrophe for some reason.
RIDEOO.
Raidu, yeah, RYDOO.
Okay.
So the that's something else, though. By the way, if you can get your hands on Raidu's, you can buy cocoa powder,
Okay.
hot cocoa with Raidu's. You can just buy it out with basically cash. And there's a chance that Miriam has Raidu's. I mean, they might be Traxadors. Or he might tip her when she drives him around.
Who knows? None of my characters.
I have 300 funds.
Funds?
Oh yeah, well, under funds, each of us would have been funds. I have 12 under the original character sheet. If you let me maintain that 12 that I'm saving up to buy a ship.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, why not?
So, I mean, I definitely share this information the next time we're together, with at least with Enduring Appreciation.
You might just text me. That's an option. I'm sure we have like a Facebook Messenger.
I get that, but you have to understand this character wouldn't stop researching and looking into things with new security clearance to send messages.
The kind of person who will call you instead of text you, because if they text you, it means they have to stop doing what they're doing, and if they call you, they can just and do what they're doing.
Maybe, yeah, that makes sense actually. You also find that Traxagor recently bought a case of self-winding aluminum coil which is no adventure should be without rope. Plenty of rope. Very, very high weight test rope. Like, you know, doing rope tricks in space rope. It's self-winding, which means that you can have like 1,000 feet in this tank that's like this big, and it'll just wind and wind and wind forever.
Nice.
Like a measuring tape.
Raidu. Yeah. It's an adorable name for currency. Okay. It seems to be important to note that Traxagore has plenty of rope.
Oh, I noted it. Don't worry.
Help us. He's gone.
Well, tell me when I'm done with my ice cream machine, because I know that'll take a while.
Yeah, that'll be the thing that probably takes the longest. So, what else do you do?
Well,
No.
I'm just saying that whether or not it takes the longest depends entirely on Miriam, and how long she's going to stand in front of that door.
I'm still talking to Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess if this is Traxagore's terminal, I'd finish up being Snoopy and then I'd try and find my own.
There was nothing else about that you wanted to look into before you moved on?
I think nothing else that I would put the pieces together yet.
Okay.
Like, I'd have this information and then something might come up later that I'm like, oh shit.
Because there's like plenty on here.
Okay.
That you haven't discovered. I don't mean to tell you that you have discovered everything that Traxagore had to say, because there's loads of shit on here, but most of it's about genetics. You have no clue what any of it means. But there's tons of shit.
Well, I know he's a genetics authority in the area, so maybe he knows something about Gerald, you said his name was?
That's actually very curious. You would think there'd be some mention of Gerald somewhere. There's nothing.
So there's no mention of Gerald.
Nothing.
All right.
There also doesn't seem to be anything that definitively identifies what the creature is. Just the creature. And he seemed keen to refer to it in a deliberately obscure way in his own records.
Okay. What's the next question? That's the thing. What am I looking for?
I mean, I sort of did. That's why it was a problem. I sort of did give him the rule book. And
look up
I was
human.
supposed to find my own card there. Look up human? Oh, wow!
I guess that's the next thing is, like, it's either is Gerald a human, if I can, like, cross-reference that, or, like, what kind of genetic modifications are being done to human at the time.
So you find human, and there are 3 types of human, according to Traxagore's notes. This is not anything like any officialdom you've ever heard of. But according to Traxagore's notes, the way that he has things set up, there are 3 types of humans. One of them seems to be probably the pre-war humans because of a few things that you note. Dates, for example. Because he uses the Reconstruction period notation, which ended a few years ago. And began only a few years before that. But it's very early Reconstruction when he's talking about it, which would probably have been like during the fucking peace talks. Some stations hadn't surrendered yet when that started, which actually means that he is dating them after the fact. But those records seem to be the humans before modifications. The other ones are stuff that you recognize because they have to deal with your scent organs and being able to respond to your scent organs. Those must be the humans that people are dealing with now. There's a third kind. And to understand that third kind, I need you to roll a medicine.
Okay. Oh, it's not bad. I mean, it's not my worst skill in the world.
Well, I mean, and also it's under cognition.
That's what I'm saying. It's a 7.
This set is, first of all, the dates don't make sense because they would have been even more recent than the other modifications. And furthermore, if you're right about some of the stuff you're seeing, they would have deliberately taken things that were removed from, for example, Charles here. But then they are extremely heightened in the third version. And Traxagor's got all kinds of notes on that.
Control C, Control V on my notepad, in my tablet.
All right. That is in no way incriminating. I'm sure.
So, is it safe to label this as like a superhuman type of sense? Like, are they trying to build and improve humans, or are they just ridiculously trying to modify them?
Well, there could be reasonable explanations. Like, for example, it could be a kind of cancer treatment. It's not any more ethical as a Trinity species, but it could be organ farming, which would be fairly horrific. But people have been trying to figure out ways of doing like ad hoc organs for a long time. And this place has things like the transmat showers, which means that they might be eventually trying to figure out ways of making organs that you would just basically beam an organ into a person's body, beaming the one that doesn't work out simultaneously, which would be great and all. But if to research that they're making artificial humans, that would be horrific and terrible. But all you really know is if what you're seeing is the DNA of a full human being. It is not. Super soldier is definitely an option, and it might explain Gerald.
Interesting.
I did not expect you to get this information this quickly, but now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, all you did was walk up to his terminal, and why wouldn't you have?
Yeah, I saw a computer that was empty. I'm like, okay.
Well, okay, so there's a station that's empty next to everybody that they're just sitting at their own. They're just sitting at their own thing. Traxagor's the only one that actually has two.
Well, I had to keep it symmetrical in the room.
Yeah, so everybody's just greedy.
Well, that's interesting. It makes sense why there's so many body pods and things like that here. I'm not going to try and send this to anybody because I'm assuming that there is some sort of security on the system here to stop this kind of information from being passed around. But I definitely want to make notes or at least copy some of it.
Yeah. I'll remind you.
Fortunately, the overwhelming emotion that you are exuding is curiosity. So no one can tell that you're going like, ha, 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 we're in danger.
Well, Darwin
Oh, no, I'm
probably
going.
shouldn't he?
Okay, oh no. I was not paying nearly enough attention. I got very distracted paying attention to what Queenie's been saying in the chat. I missed something critical.
I'll share it with you. Don't worry. I'm thinking to myself, ha, 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 I'm going to talk to Charles later.
Ooh, here, I'll give you a link to the place.
What else can I search here? Humans, genetic modification, blah, blah, blah. No method or no information about the previous job occupants, like you mentioned before.
There you
Yeah.
I wonder how long it takes for space Amazon.
But you do note also from login periods and stuff, Traxagor is on this terminal for like 4 or 5 weeks out of the year. It has been doing that for like 4 years.
Like you said in the notes earlier in the journals, he makes trips here and back, and
yeah,
he has been here a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, did he bring a crew with him?
There's no evidence one way or the other about that. You do note that he only started referring to the creature since the last trip before
Queenie
he
would
left
like
the
to
picture.
clarify if pheromone release. If so, then it can be smelled by.
It's the he is releasing the curiosity odor that he is known for, and that might give away the fact that he is getting into things he probably shouldn't be getting into, and Darwin should be able to smell that.
I mean, as a Mirai, you don't know that you smell a certain way, right?
I
mean, you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But
part
also,
of. That doesn't mean you're cognizant of it at the time, especially if you're distracted by the fact that you just figured out that your boss has a mysterious creature somewhere.
Oh. I know I shouldn't push it, but I know curiosity would push.
Charles cries out, "I fucking love this computer," and Andretti starts laughing at him, and Darwin goes, "They are very nice machines," as he wins 2 games of solitaire simultaneously.
Okay, that got my attention, and I bust out of my mode.
Yeah, the fireworks going across the whole screen with the card doing the thing.
2 screens. No, he is very good at it. Well, he's a split screen on his one screen, which is 2 screens. Look, it's very complicated. If you could see it the way I see it, it would be very clear. It makes sense to me.
Now that I'm out of my focus zone because he won 2 games of solitaire, I'll get my tablet and send a text to Enduring saying, got login stuff.
I like to imagine you guys have a system of emojis poorly express the chemical composition of certain smells. So like you've got like a certain emoji, just the chemical composition of curiosity and things like that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, right.
It's like those little lockets you can buy that the jewelry is the chemical symbol for caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've got little emojis and you add emotional punctuation to clarify communication.
So I think the emoji you get Enduring is the one that I just put in Twitch chat.
That's fair.
And then like a computer emoji.
Back in the baby Kraken days, that's the one that Patty and I used to throw back and forth.
Yeah.
I go downstairs. Well, I take the ice cream machine as it is currently.
Oh no,
and put it in the fridge.
Yeah, you go in there, grab your multi-tool, grab the correct pieces of metal, make sure that you work on it right outside of the room so that the robot doesn't come in here, because you never know what robots are going to do. They just do what they do. And then you piece together the ultimate perfectly set up ice cream machine, which will fit precisely the dimensions of that fridge. And it is perfect. It is flawless. It is beautiful. Few things are as beautiful, especially to an engineer, as something that is very precise for its purpose. And this thing is definitely that.
You've signed it. It's got your sigil on it, as well as a sigil that indicates that you've made it in order to assist Master Andretti. Add some flair twist on that. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you've been involved in Trinity's like new everybody is involved education structure, right? So you know what the equivalent is for master's degree, right? So you throw the MS on there, and I don't know how you spell Andretti as an insect, but whatever.
You might just like put like a computer sigil because.
That'd work too.
Yeah. I also
It's really cute. Actually.
I go to my locker. I grab one of the little sticky things I made. I have sticky things that are both my handprint and Curiosity Passion's handprints, and we normally put them around the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's all rustic. People make it. Humans think it makes it look homey or whatever. So it's my way of tricking them into thinking that I think like a human.
Good call.
I stick one of those to it.
Okay.
I put it in the fridge, and I go downstairs and I get my credentials.
Right.
But on the way, I peek into the med bay, count how many people are in there, and if it's other than 3, then I'll be suspicious, but, you know, whatever.
All right, we definitely have to come back to that. Okay, you, Miriam, you are knocking on a door, and after a while, The director, Dr. Mosley, is walking down the hall. Oh,
Thanks,
excuse me.
Doctor. You're the person in charge, right?
Why do you need all of these drones? He asks.
I don't. They just like to hang out with you.
You, shoo,
Anyway.
shoo, go on. You have work to do. Go get some dishes done.
You're in charge, correct?
Well, I mean, there are days I wonder about that. Supposedly.
On paper, you are in charge, correct?
Yes, on paper, I am in charge, he says, rolling his eyes. Would that meant anything?
Then I duly inform you that Professor Traxtor has had some kind of business that has required him to depart from this location.
He raises an eyebrow. What did you say?
Professor Traxtor left. He's in the ship with him. I don't know why he did that when I'm not on drive it. But you know what happens when I trust him. He knows what he's doing.
He seems very uncomfortable with his information. He pulls out his slate, he opens up an app, he taps on some things for a moment, and then says, Dr. Traxagor, when you receive this, I would very much like to speak with you. And then he clicks a few buttons, puts it back in his pocket, runs his hands through his hair in a very I'm surprised I have hair left kind of way, and says, well, in the meantime, is there something I can do to help you as you are in my way?
Well, are you going into this room?
I mean, it's my room, and I do have work to do.
I take a step to the side to let him walk into his room, but I totally look in at the
Hell yeah!
when he walks in.
That is exactly what I'd have done.
Shamelessly snooping. Shameless snooping. I don't work here. I don't care.
That's true.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yay.
I just spent 10 minutes snooping through someone else's computer.
Is that one of those tacky knot bushes?
Yeah. He has a tacky knot bush. The floor is the same white substance that the chemical room is, which is actually kind of weird instead of the fake wood. He has his own like dining area. He has his own transmat shower. The table over here has Imperial era symbology. That's not real gold because that would be obnoxious and the table would be heavy for no reason.
And it would be inefficient for making the ship.
But it is a table that is meant to look like it's gold and has a big fucking eagle on it. This was definitely for military people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to ask Queenie if Mirai have thumbs.
Yeah. How many digits do the Mirai have? I do the Threnny quick finger guns at the doctor and walk off.
Excellent. All right, let's check deck 2. Okay. And then we'll throw Sharia on deck 2.
They have
2 on each hand.
2 thumbs on each hand.
Fuck yeah, dude. Human upgrades do that.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling fucking champs.
They it makes it
Middle
very
fingers and
difficult.
2 thumbs. Fucking my kind of man. Holy. 4 middle fingers and 2 thumbs. That's the 2 sides of my mood.
This is
sure.
how Mirai split people up.
No, Pebbles is not on this floor.
Oh
GM.
yeah, hence the sixes system.
Get out of here, Al. We already dealt with you. Okay, you walk up to the medical bay, and you find the good doctor by herself. Well, except for her smart drone, which wanders around nitpicking about dust and things, because that's what they do.
Fascinating.
That is fascinating.
And suspicious.
I put up a one finger, closed the door. I don't know if she saw me, but I'm basically taking a roll call by counting people myself.
She's looking at a... Well, it's not a bad idea, actually. She's looking at a terminal screen. and is fretting to herself and humming a lot as she's holding two slates stacked on top of each other, and she's doing something on the top slate, and then occasionally she'll flip over to the other one and do something, and then flip them back.
Oh, that's such a mood. I constantly will, like, when I had my tablet, I constantly had 3 different tablets, my phone and then my 2 tablets going, doing all sorts of different things.
For sure, dude. Yeah, that happens, like the tablet and the phone, because the tablet is slow as hell. It takes forever to do anything. But my phone is my phone. I communicate and shit with it.
Exactly. And so you use the tablet to stuff that, especially if you want it to be bigger, to see it better. Yeah.
All right, Trey, you have an ice cream machine and a good Dr. LaCreme. What we do with them?
Well, I just needed to make sure that she was there, because that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But she's here, and the other 2 are not here. And that was...
people.
What?
What?
There are 2 people missing. I just noticed.
Yeah, one of them just went into the captain's cabins, but I don't know that.
No. We've been to every floor. We've been to the top floor. The people are up there. We've been to the bottom floor. Gerald is missing.
No, Gerald is in the next... yeah, he's in the green room, but I don't know that yet.
Okay.
All
right.
My next step is to check all the other
God damn
rooms
it.
in here.
Mary,
And
I need you to hold still.
Me?
Not like actually you. I meant that I altered Discord and you disappeared from the camera.
Yes, that happened.
As is usual, well, usual is a strong word. As is sometimes the case, I'm yelling at you, but it's not your fault. It's mine. All right.
Yeah, I really wish. Honestly, I really wish Discord would allow one to do the same thing. Wait, maybe you can. Oh, you can. You can pop it out. You can pop my face out.
I don't. That sounds terrible. I'd rather stay where it is. I have enough trouble. Maybe we'll figure that out.
If you pop it out, then you can still use Discord.
If I pop it, well, I don't really need to. If I pop it out, is it a window though? Because I'm using a window capture.
It is a separate stream voice window.
Okay. How do I?
You open up stream discussion, and there is a thing that looks like a pop out. Pop that out.
Can they see that? They can't see me hovering over the ban button. That's a shame, because that would have been really funny. Invite, unfocus. No, do not do that. That would be a problem. No, I'm doing something wrong. What if I do this? Inbox, more, grid. Let's check the more. Show non-video? No, don't show them. Nobody cares
No,
about them.
it was up at the top.
And now, I mean, it's done something. It popped you out.
Yeah,
but
it's
it is
up
not
at the top, and it looks like it.
The window is not independent though.
Was it at the top? Okay, wait. No, never mind. I was wrong. It's next to the skull screen, and it's got a square with an arrow to pop out.
How do I do that? Does that?
There, and then you go fiddle with my video.
Then I can go here and depress myself because I have made this. Look, this would have been a lot better if it didn't break earlier. That's it. We can blame it on that. Because it broke earlier. We weren't expecting for it to have broken earlier. So we are dealing with it now, right? That's what happens. Overlay image. Is this the right thing? No, that's Miriam's ordinary camera, which she doesn't use anymore because she can't log in because Jeff Bezos wants me to be sad. Skyrim, welcome, table. No, it has to be this one. It has to be the new window capture. Please wait. No. Discord stuff.
No,
I can't.
You have a share with the class.
And then go to.
Because share with the class or Discord call. That is where the video should also be stored, as well as the microphone records all of us when you're in a voice chat with them.
What is it called? Streamlab OBS settings for window. Chrome. It's not called Discord. It's called.
No, it's called Stream Voice.
Raz Synapse account login. Well, that seems wrong. Steam login.
It should be called Stream Voice because that's the chat room that we're in.
Streamlab OBS. I don't have a stream voice.
Ow.
Why does it not? It doesn't recognize it as a window. Yours recognizes it as a window?
I'm going to go check. Oops, it was mine. Anyway, as we're doing this, continue.
Right. So I check the other rooms on this floor. I assume I happen to go through the top 2 rooms already. So I don't know if Gerald ends up seeing me
Problems with it being full screen anyway.
when I go down here to continue taking roll.
You find Gerald.
Ah. He's in the sauna.
Gerald is hanging out among the trees. He glances in your direction briefly when you walk in, and then they look like poker chips.
That's actually Stream Boy. Done.
Yeah, which I did not have a moment ago.
Well, do you have it now?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
Burp.
That should function.
Whoa! What? Why are you tiny now, Miriam? What is that?
What?
What is this? Why is this happening to me?
If I'm small, it's because you haven't properly fiddled with the grid.
I have 2 thumbs?
Yes, you have 2 thumbs.
Both do, yeah.
One on top and one on bottom. It's
And
a
then
really
4 middle fingers.
It's a really good way to do things, actually.
I like that.
Human upgrades can do that for you for the low price of $40 million. You can have extra thumbs. They can put a clitoris between your fingers too.
I might cosplay my right hand as the Mirai for all my coworkers tomorrow.
That'd be a very peculiar thing to do, sir. Just so we're clear
4 middle fingers.
That is a very big Miriam.
Well,
Very big nightlight.
look, I'm working on it. It's not my fault. Well, I mean, it is, sort of, but I still blame Jeff Bezos because it's...
Well, he deserves it anyway, so.
Twitch chat's funny.
Yeah.
So
Work. No. Wrong. Failure.
So, is Gerald treating the room as like a sauna, a place for contemplation, or like...
He's staring into the tree as though it might release its secrets to him, which nobody can see but you, because of course that's the case. There we go.
So he's treating it as a place for contemplation as opposed to like he's working with the trees.
He's not doing any kind of discernible labor. In fact,
Yeah.
he's wearing very little in any kind of discernible clothes, probably because most clothes will not fit Gerald.
I feel like I should solve that. Anyway, humans like wearing clothes, usually, as far as I can tell.
Based on all our research, except that research you did that one.
I was going to say, she's done an awful lot of research in which they are very eager to get out of them.
That has to do with mating rituals, though it's important to note that that nudity is not always a mating ritual. For example, mating rarely happens in saunas. People are usually naked.
Gerald, on the other hand, is one of the few people you have met tall enough to be trying to perform a mating ritual with a tree.
So, that's
He's a very
two.
tall man. Very tall wereman.
Cut out the top of my head.
Well, quit sitting up so tall.
I can't. This is literally me just said it.
Ugh, God damn it, Miriam.
I'm literally. You have any idea how tight this apron is? I cannot crouch. Crouching is not an option.
I daren't crouch.
I can only sit tall or lounge. Those are my only.
Well, in your defense, well, perhaps my defense, you do lounge a lot. When I first met you, you were lounging as though you were melting onto a couch.
Yes, this is true.
I was like, you were bending in very many places. They are not joints.
Yeah.
Alright, so there are only 2 people on this floor.
Well, it depends on how you feel about some of the robots, but yes. The floor is not very much occupied at the moment.
I should probably start keeping track of the robots, but it hasn't occurred to me yet.
Don't name all the robots, please.
I'm not going to name all of them. I'm going to count.
You have pebbles. That's more than enough. The rest of them are just robots.
Ah, but this is not human nakedness. This is thread nakedness.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Critical distinction.
What we do?
Well, there's only 2 people on this floor.
Yes.
I look in all the rooms to make sure third person is or isn't there.
Yeah.
And then I continue down, back down to floor 1, I believe. The other place where people hang out. Are there 3 or 4 floors?
There are 3 floors.
Okay, cool.
There are 4 lights. I have been made to understand that this is the case. Merp.
Cool. Go around the waist.
Walk right
Oh
by
wait,
the
there's
top
a door right here. I go through this door.
Okay.
I count everyone in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I come over to you and get my chip.
Hand you the card and say,
No, do
DNA.
but I like the way they look. Is a total mood. Total friend mood.
Yeah, I use like a crevice between 2 of my carapace things on my hand or whatever, and
Alright, you rub the rip it.
yeah,
Hopefully,
I got it.
Hopefully that's your DNA, because it might get awkward later if it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know what you were doing that whole time, so.
That's the point I'm trying to make here. Is like normally this system is devised with the understanding that it is definitely your DNA on the card, and that's why they made that card. But Charles just gave you a card and was like, "Here, put DNA on this." You could whatever it is. It better be this. If you smear mud on it instead, it better be the same mud every time somebody tries to scan your DNA. You could have some explaining to do.
Oh, Quell. Charles has your card.
Yeah.
Charles is like, "I do," and he pulls out another card and slips it into the VHS cassette looking box.
Burner.
I'm like, okay.
I, for my own stupid reasons, would like to roll, because I was hoping you'd already have a set base. Though it makes sense because I'm not actually supposed to be here. I'm the pilot.
Yeah, you were not. You're the valet. You were not supposed to stay.
When he completes it, I would like to roll a maneuver check to pickpocket it off him. So to speak.
All right, sure.
I just want to roll. I haven't rolled at all, so I just want to do it.
You have a major twist on your take the card from Charles. What did you have in mind?
Oh wow. I'd like to imagine I remove from the card from the moment it's done, and then he can't find it, and then I have it on the other side of him, and he's like, that thing, and he takes it from my hand, and then I steal it around from the other side again.
Yeah, you're all 3 Animaniacs for a moment.
Exactly, all 3 Animaniacs for a moment. Yeah.
1 for each twist.
Yeah.
1 for each twist.
Well, I did get 3, you know.
All right.
That was so good.
Your maneuver is fucking wild, by the way.
Yeah, like, that's awesome. Amazing. Once I have it within my possession, knowledge that I must put my DNA on it, I'm gonna world build for you and flip the edge of the red square up to reveal a small sharp bit, and I'm going to slice my tongue with it because that is the fastest place in the body that he.
Okay. You figuratively dance with this man for a moment. Thank you for your time. Like, comment, subscribe, and share.